Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I am Commander Exorcist, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. It's Tuesday night, and so it's time to take a look at what is happening in Galnet and the greater Elite Dangerous Galaxy. Things have been somewhat quiet in the war front. I know we had some major developments with the Revenants and stuff, but it's kind of as far as war goes, it's kind of a status quo recently. However, there have been some interesting developments in the Federation. And the Federation is not making many friends at the moment. And it's been an interesting few days. But we're going to talk about a subject that may be sore for some people, maybe not. But we're going to talk about how the Federation has implemented a Far God deportation program. And you can tell the English wrote this because it's got two M's and an E. So the Alliance recently announced kind of their support for taking on, Thargoid, not Thargoid. They worship Far God of the Thargoids, the Far God cult, and its members. And so, but the Federation, on the other hand, has taken a completely opposite approach to this. And we're going to read this article. I've read a little bit of it and know what it's about, and we're going to experience this together. And then I've got some thoughts, especially about this topic, on both sides of the pro and the anti for this. The Federation has agreed to the expulsion of all adherents to the Order of the Far God to the Alliance. Okay. Granted, it's a good thing, I guess, that they've got a place that they're going to send them. President Zachary Hudson issued a statement alongside the government decision. Any ideology that worships the Thargoids is destructive and treasonous, especially now that we are at war with that species. I believe that rather than waste taxpayers' money keeping these deluded individuals incarcerated, the Federation is better off without them. Geez, Zach, he's just going to get rid of them. Get rid of them all. And I'm glad that Galnet's referencing them by their proper name, the Order of the Far God. Even me, speaking on camera, have called them the Far God cult because it's kind of what they've been portrayed as. And in my opinion, I think it's unfair. I think it's an unfair representation. Yeah, they haven't been the best. They've done some really weird stuff. But I think there's this really weird, just kind of a xenophobic, weird approach to the Far God cult, Order of the Far God, whatever you want to call them, since they arrived. Since they first made themselves apparent to the galaxy, they've been treated just like garbage, even before they did anything bad. So, it's just odd that these people, because of their belief system, have been just kind of tossed around. Like the government is so willing to just get rid of them. Just all of them. It's odd. This morning I accepted Prime Minister Mayon's proposal. All former citizens known to have pledged themselves to this toxic religion will be transported beyond our borders and into the care of the Alliance. Security services have prioritized the True Chapter's cultists currently imprisoned in the Papunchis system, labeling them as high risk compared to orthodox Far God followers. They will be escorted to Alliance space aboard the Dedicant, having agreed to provide full access to the megaship's databanks and the Order's sacred text for federal assessment. Okay. Name a time in history when a government has infiltrated and taken control of a religious order where that's been a good thing. I'll wait. You can't, because it never has been. Never. Never has the mix of government and religion worked. This is just really, really crazy that the Federation thinks that it's okay to just go in and conduct a federal assessment on their sacred texts. They're sacred for a reason, because they mean something to those people. The dedicant will then collect cultists held in other federal penal facilities, ferrying them to Allied systems. Well, gee, how nice of them. Political correspondent Sophia Trevino wrote an opinion piece for the Federal Times. Could there be an ulterior motive to this unexpected decision by the president? Perhaps Hudson is mindful of his legacy, with his term of office approaching its end. By tempering his strongman reputation with a degree of leniency, he can better portray himself as a firm but fair leader in the Federation's history books. Wow. Okay. So, it's pretty obvious that I'm not keen on the mass deportation of people based on their religious ideology. I think that's scummy, to say it nicely. And you know, the Order of the Far God is representative of so many different religious movements throughout the centuries, where no matter what the basic belief of that religion is, you're always going to have some kind of an extreme viewpoint, to the point where it's deadly. Even if your religion is moderate, there's always going to be outliers. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? And so I think that the Far God order is along those lines in many respects. Yes, they're not some of the nicest people, and they have done some questionable things. But what about like the Orthodox followers, just the people that have read these texts, believe them, but aren't interested in engaging in the war? So it's I think this is really kind of a dangerous approach to things, because lumping everyone into a single group because of the behavior of a few, man, that has never worked throughout history. That is just, it's short-sighted. And what Hudson's going to do here, and Trevino mentions this at the end of the article, where she's talking about how he's trying to assert his political legacy by showing himself to be strong but lenient. So by being strong, by dealing with the Order of the Far God, and being lenient by not massacring them. Gee, thanks. Not sticking them in a prison for the rest of their lives. Moving them to alliance space where they will have more freedom of movement, freedom of religion. And it's strange, because the Federation was founded in part on the protection of xenoculture. So, whether you want to admit it or not, the Thargoids are, for elite, the penultimate xenoculture. And to have a collective of human beings worshiping them as gods, that makes them part of that culture. That makes the Thargoids a legit part of our kind of religious and philosophical culture as humanity. And so it goes against the Federation's founding principles to deport these people and to send them off. I'm grateful for the Alliance taking them in, and that's not to say that there aren't bad people in the Far God organization and the Order, but I think that the Federation would be better served by going after those people. They know a lot of them already, so going after the people that want to blow up megaships or want to create chaos, deal with them. Having Orthodox Far God followers in the Federation could be a strategic advantage at some point. Who knows? What if the Thargoids at some point decide to start speaking to the Far God adherents? What if those people are the ones that are finally able to break through and communicate with the Thargoids? I don't think that it will be a commander carrying a rifle, defending himself or herself on a surface settlement. I just don't. I think it's going to be one of these people. It's a dangerous precedent. I really don't like it. I can see the need for defense, but we as human beings, man, we go from 0 to 100 so fast. And it really just cuts us up into pieces. And, I think that he's making a bad move. I think this is a bad move. The Federation's also founded on religious freedom. Not unless you believe what the state wants you to believe. But we've seen stuff like this all through history. This is nothing new. It's disappointing. It's disappointing that in 3309 we're still doing this to people. We're still rounding people up, corralling them, and sending them away because they don't believe what we believe, think the way that we do, look the way that we do, or whatever. We're supposed to be better than that. You thought, thousands of years ago we were better than that. Apparently not. Apparently it's the almighty dollar and politics. That's what rules. When somebody tells you that they're all about everybody together, most of the time they don't mean it. This is just proof. Maybe Zachary is working on his legacy, and I wish him well on his way out, but I think this is a stain. I really do. I think this is a stain on the Federation. So it may come back to bite us, it may not, but let's just hope that the Far God Order isn't the one that gets the first messages from the Thargoids and starts talking to them, because guess what the Federation just did? Potentially cut off all access to that. And do you think that the Order of the Far God is going to be so willing to rush back to the Federation and say, please take us back? We know you made a mistake, but our God wants to speak to you. I doubt it. Don't think that's going to happen. Kind of somber, but important. This is a heavy topic, but this is the world we live in. This is the cool thing about Elite Dangerous, is that it echoes some of the history and some of the modern elements of our world in a way that brings it into the future. And what would we do? Well, apparently Zachary Hudson's just going to corral a bunch of people up, throw them on mega ships, detain them, steal their sacred texts, and then give them a new home to live in. Yeah, what could go wrong there, right? These are the disciples. Thank you, disciples. These are the people that are my Patreon subscribers currently. Thank you for your support. And if you are interested in supporting this content, supporting out there, supporting the other stuff that I do on this channel and on other social media, patreon.com/Commander Exorcist. I do monthly videos, extra stuff that people don't get to see on the main channel, opportunities for exclusive stuff, and your support would be greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for today's Taco Tuesday. Like I said, really somber, a little bit longer than normal, but I had a little more to say about this one. I think it's important, and I think it's important that when we get something like this, we don't gloss over it. It's easy to sit back and say that the T-1000 is making, a stupid mistake, but I think that his decision is completely contrary to the founding principles of the Federation and everything that the federal people stand for. I think they stand for freedom. If they're not hurting anybody, why do they have to go? If you're scared of them, but they haven't done anything to you, that's something that you need to work on. If somebody scares you, but they haven't done anything to you, ask yourself, why do they scare you? What's wrong with you? And that's what Zachary Hudson, that's what the people in the Federation need to do. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you, everyone. Fly safe, watch your backs, and I will see you out there. 07.